Hey there in YouTube land. And today I got tagged on a video. I love getting tagged. Thank you. And it's on Kane Carlson's channel. So if you haven't checked his channel out, I'm going to be leaving a description in the description box down below, in the comment box. Um, Description comment, whatever you want to call that thing. Uh, anyway, so it's a horror tag, which I really love. And it's talking about 10 questions. I decided I was going to write them down first and like take out all the movies that for those questions. Then I decided I was going to listen to his video, think about what I wanted to do, blank my mind out, and just do it completely gonzo the way that I like to do my videos on here. So here we go. By the way, here we go. So I'm wearing a hat today. This is from the Avalon Expo, which has not happened yet. It is we usually have a sci-fi on the rock convention here. I just went to that the weekend, put my name in a hat basically, and I won the Avalon Expo hat there. And this is their first hat. This is their first expo going on this year. It's the summer festival. So I want to give them a shout out and support for the guys here that are actually putting that together. So it's kind of cool to have the I guess the hat for the first year, and if this thing takes off, who knows? Collector's item down the road. Anyway, 10 questions, pretty cool stuff. Horror is my favorite genre, and we're going to get to talk about it just a little bit more. So, what's the first horror movie you remember watching? Well, there's two ways I can take this. There's a horror movie that I saw on TV. There's a horror movie that I saw and barely remember watching in the theater. Well, not in the theater. It was actually driving. When I was really, really young, I was taken to see uh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre at a drive-in, and I went out talking about the guilty party that took me there. Awesome of them, and that I remember seeing. As for horror that I really remember actually watching it on my own, it was early coming stuff I remember there's Vampire with I think it was, oh man, it was Richard Lynch. He did there was a pilot for a TV show, didn't make it, and and I remember watching every year there was this Louis Jourdan version of Dracula that would come on PBS. Clown Murders was an early horror film that I saw. So there's so many, and of course I remember watching Halloween the first time. I almost did that that kind of Newfoundland thing where you drop your ages, like Halloween. Uh, Halloween when I originally saw it, and the did I see that one theater? I didn't see the first one in theater. I don't think. I saw the second one theater, but I saw the first one on the basically when the second one I think was coming out. They showed it on TV, and I think it was NBC, and it was really cool. But the thing that I remember the most, thing that scared me the most, there's two. I already told you guys at the time, grade 7, when it was I was listening to but not seeing Terror Train. But there was a time before that when my aunt was babysitting. We grew up like brother and sister, and so she had her boyfriend come over. So I was basically go watch some TV here, and that's basically what it was. So it was like CBC, and it was later in the night, and he had Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, the original one with Kim Darby on, and I was so scared watching this movie back then. I know it seems silly now, but back at the end of the day, scared the crap out of me. There was these little creatures, and at the end of the movie, this is not a happy ending movie. This does not go well for this girl. Kim Darby really, really gets. Oh man. Anyway, I gotta own that movie then, bro. It's really cool. It's only been on the archives edition, but anyway, first horror movie I remember watching. Short question, long answer. What's my favorite horror movie? I go back and forth on this. I mean, there's a lot of times when I'm thinking, and it depends on the genre too. Giallo was what I grew up watching a lot in slasher films, which is going to get into one of the other questions. So we're not going to start talking about that yet. But my favorite horror film, God, what do I watch over and over again? A lot of them. Hmm. I know Tenebrae and the Friday 13th films are way, way up there. Halloween, actually, probably Halloween 2 even more so than Halloween at times. I don't, depends on the mood I'm in. But man, one that a horror movie that affected me the most. My favorite. Actually, let us go with Tenebrae because it gets in kind of a slasher aspect. Gets in my Dario Argento love. The fact that I really kind of really fell in love with that film even more so than Profondo Rosso, Deep Red, and it just was one of my favorites. What's your favorite horror movie genre? Slasher, and I know slasher is sometimes seen as a subgenre, but I don't see it as that. I see it as it's an actual genre. It's really, really has some great movies, has some really bad movies, like any genre. But more than anything else, it brings out some other very classics in horror cinema. Uh, People talk about like the this like new waves of cinema and new waves of French cinema and all that stuff, and like, but slasher really does, and it gets a bad rap. Here's something that, like, yes, there's a crap load of bad slasher movies made, and a lot of the reason for that is slashers became really popular because they're really cheap to make at a time when basically VHS was taking off and there was a market for home video and there was a huge market for slasher films and action films. These were the type of films that sold. There was a lot more people going in and renting Friday the 13th Part 6 or Part 5 or My Bloody Valentine or Happy Birthday to Me than there was going out and renting Casablanca. That's just the way that it was. And because of that, we got a deluge of slasher films. Some were good and some were Dr. Butcher MD. They just were not the best films. But that being said, a lot of innovations that have been done in film over the years. When you think of Black Christmas, and then you go from there, you go to Halloween, the original, not the Rob Zombie thing, and you think of like what they did with Friday the 13th. Then you take that and go into the supernatural aspect of the slasher, and you look at things like Nightmare on Elm Street and just what they've done with it, and how they've taken it and managed to even bring it back to TV when they did oh God, Harper's Island. That's the name, right? Harper's Island. So it's a slasher TV series. Yeah, and and now there's the American Horror Story, especially in the second season, and there's just a whole lot of things that have been done with the slasher. I mean, people can talk about what's the Mummy films or the Dracula films, the vampire films, and all that. And I've seen the vampire films degrade to Twilight level and really, really go out there. There's honestly, to be honest, I love the vampire genre when we're talking about Hammer and Universal and Near Dark and Lost Boys stuff. I love that stuff, but I don't think that it's kept up in the way the slashers have. And slashers have been so put upon over the years. Yet slashers has been one of the very few horror genres, in my opinion, that has actually grown because actually it's had room to grow. It has some pretty awful stuff all along the way. It's littered with some awful stuff, but it's also there with some amazing stuff. And love or hate the ending to movies like High Tension. High Tension will keep you watching till the end of that film. Inside is another great one, and it's just and we've seen other countries go on and do the slasher film and do so well with it. The Jello film, in a way, it's almost it's akin to the slasher film. We see movies come out oh God, I just had one in my head too. Oh, Frit Philip, Colprey, those Colprey films, the slasher films are being reinvented. Adam Green with Hatchet, just coming and reinventing, having fun little slasher films, and that is my favorite horror genre. What horror genre scares you the most? Uh, I'm not scared by a lot of the supernatural stuff. They don't really freak me out a lot. Some of the ghost ones do those jump scare things. Surprisingly, The Conjuring made me jump a few times. Uh, that being said, it didn't make me jump watching it over this third time. Like it was jump scares at work, but it wasn't a long term scare. It's something that scared me when I was watching it, but rewatching it doesn't scare you. Kind of, it's in the moment. It's when you watch it. So a lot of things don't keep that prevailing scariness, and that's just the thing. Once you're scared, and you see it again in a lot of cases, especially with a jump scare type of scare, it doesn't keep there. Now, if you're a really religious person, for instance, a lot of people would find things like The Exorcist not scary, or if not, you don't have to be religious, but just have to have some sort of feeling of this can happen type of thing. And when I was in journalism, one of the things that we had to research were the supposedly real exorcisms. And it was very creepy watching that, much more than watching The Exorcist or anything like that, which is a fantastic film. No knock on The Exorcist. I think it's very scary. Just not me scary. I do find, and home invasion stuff actually scarier because I can see that happening. Stuff like The Strangers, those films kind of freak me out. High Tension too freak me out because of the fact that even a lot of the slasher stuff, which you may find some kind of silly, some of those things creep me out because of Well, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not sure if there's ever going to be a zombie that can come around. Probably science nowadays. Who knows? Maybe there will be zombies. And I'm not sure if vampires exist. If there was, why don't they bite me and make me immortal? Uh, but one thing that I do know is that people go crazy. People kill. People pick up knives and axes and pitchforks and whatever, and they lose it. And sometimes there's a reason. Sometimes there's absolutely zero reason. People can be really brutal and mean to other people, and they can kill people, and that's what scares me. That darker aspect of human nature that actually is there, that can happen. So being possessed, can it happen? I don't know, uh, but that's not what scares me. My neighbor coming home one day, catching his wife cheating, snapping, and killing the entire block. That does I find that creepy. That's something that I find scary. What's the last horror movie that actually scared you? It was actually probably the Conjuring, to be honest, and like not scared me long term. It doesn't scare me now, but when I watched it, I jumped like 10 feet. I think when I was watching the film, that type of thing. But jump scares I do work on me the first time around, and I'm glad that they do. I'm glad that I'm not. It hasn't jaded me to that point where I don't get scared. I'm like a kid. I still get scared. I want to go on I've been on like huge down the road. I want to go on like huge roller coaster ride. Petrifies me. Am I going to do it? She'll make me. I'll do it. But I'm going to be petrified for those 2.5, 3 minutes I'm on that roller coaster. And it's like, and then you get off, and there's like a godlike feeling right afterwards because you've survived it. So that's what I like. But The Conjuring, I guess, was the last movie that actually scared me. There's a couple of jump scares. One, she's walking. There's a couple, but overall, nothing really scares me long term. Life, that's scary me. Who's your ultimate scream queen, past and present? Well, he gave great answers. I mean, he mentioned like Tiffany Shepard. He mentioned Danielle Harris. Uh, Beautiful, beautiful women. Tiffany Shepard is an amazing scream queen. But I'm older school, I guess, and I don't know. I still want to pick her because the reason the guys pick Tiffany Shepard as their ultimate scream queen. But for me, I really do like. I'm not sure if she's like. I There's people that I like, and I'm really going back and forth. I could go really old school. We go like Jamie Lee Curtis, but maybe that's a maybe. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna let's gestate this a little bit. Uh, Jill Sholin is the one that I really like a lot. She was younger when she did it, so actually she kind of seemed vulnerable in those films like Stepfather and stuff like that. Popcorn. Oh man, I'm Madman. No, 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 she was in that. That was Jenny Wright, I think. She was in Family Opera. But Ultimate Scream Queens, man. Linnea Quigley, I really did like Linnea Quigley. She did a lot for the genre, and she respected the fact that she was a scream queen, and really enjoyed it. There are other people like Brink Stevens, Michelle Bauer. A lot of these girls that they're considered not lower ranked scream queens to some people, but I really like them. And in the modern day thing, I think Emma Roberts could really be a good scream queen. I mean, if she really tends to go the way she's done, like American Horror Story, she's doing Scream Queens series. She was in, of course, Scream 4, which I think is highly underrated, by the way. Um, so Scream Queens, we're going to give it to. I will give it to Linnea Quigley, and I'm going to give it to Miss Tiffany Shepard because she actually made some good stuff that I really like. Nightmare Man is one that I can watch over and over again. Why is these questions going out on me like this? No signal, can't be done now. Now, let's go back. All right. What's a concept you would like to see in a horror movie? Something that hasn't been done? I think everything's been done. I kind of don't want to give away the concepts that I like to see in a horror movie because I am a writer. But let's give you something. So I'm working on something called Moments, which isn't horror, and it's very different. And I was collaborating with a friend on something called The Dance, which is also very different from horror. That being said, I would love to see And I don't mean in the VHS way, in the actual classic sense of the way. I was watching Top Vault of Horror the other night with my better half, and I would really like to see the anthology film come back in full force. Not just like VHS anthology type stuff. Not VHS violence, it sucked ass. Uh, but I mean like actual really classic good anthology films with some production values on it, some decent actors, and let's see some gothic horror come back. I would love to see the gothic horror come back. Gothic horror like westerns or something that seems to be lost. But there's such great gothic stories that can be told, and I mean as gothic horror, not as hey, let's take Dracula and make him to an action hero. No, not that. I want to see Dracula, make him scary again. Don't make him sparkle. Don't make him an anti-hero. Do like they did in Hammer days and back in the Universal days, and make Dracula actually freaking scary. That's what I want to see. Make me some gothic horror. That's what I want. Gothic horror, old school, old style, cool stuff. When I was one of the most disappointed people in the world when The Mummy came out, and everybody was all excited, and I went to the theater to watch this. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because this wasn't The Mummy to me. It just was. It was fun. It was cute and all that stuff. But no, I didn't really. I didn't dig it that much. So gothic horror. That's what I want back. It's my concept.
Penny Dreadful.
Oh, yeah, Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadful's the closest we got to gothic horror right now. Watch that TV series, guys. It's really good. What is your favorite on-screen kill? Friday the 13th gave me a lot of my best kills. But when I think of movies that have some really good kills in it, I gotta say, High Tension really stands out. They have the kill that's on the stairs. There's the kill with the mother, and the brutal little kid like death. So let's go with a totally different movie, because this is how I usually roll with these things. When I was talking about the Friday 13th things on the last Cathode, which a lot of you guys missed actually this time around. We did a Friday 13th one, which I'm really shameful. I talked about like my favorite Friday kills and stuff like that, but the very amply endowed and attractive Debbie Voorhees gets like this kill where it's kind of like a burning type of kill where this, what are those things called again? Clippers things, hedge clipper things, goes like kind of through her eyes. I think it's really a good death. I like that one, so we're gonna go with that because I want to do something different. I've been mentioning a lot of deaths lately, but I will go with that one. If it wasn't that one, then what is it? The most memorable kill in a movie for me, it's not a brutal kill, but most memorable in death ways, is probably just a girl dying in Martyrs and what happens there. How that takes the film. It's really different.
What about
Which one?
your favorite movie? Favorite slasher? Winter one.
My favorite winter one? Which one?
The Christmas one.
Oh, I need Black Christmas. Oh, yeah. The original Black Christmas, 1974, had an amazing death with Margot Kidder, where the unicorn death, which is not really seen on screen, but it's really good. And if it's not in my top one, that's really up there, along with the death with the bag. That kind of freaks me out. Okay, so what is your favorite horror franchise? Friday 13th. Oh, there's a lot of great franchises. I like the Halloween franchise. You can see my box set over there and all that stuff. But as far as horror franchises go, Friday the 13th delivers more on a regular basis for what I like. Nightmare on Elm Street does in a lot of cases too, but I go back and forth on some of those. I find some of them get dated. I can still watch them and have fun with them because when I grew up in the time that a lot of these movies were done, and I understand a lot of the references and the cultural references, I can see how some of those films could actually, people could be mad against them because of certain things, or just think it was kitschy and cheesy. But I think the Friday 13th ones hold up well. They are very easy genre to do. It's not brain surgery. It's Friday 13th, and the fact that it takes them so long to make a movie when all you need are like a bunch of unknown actors in the woods, drinking, smoking weed, and having sex at camp and getting killed by Jason. Not and having a gore quote in there because gore thing was big with Friday 13th. My friend actually Sheldon, who's a huge Friday fan like me, pointed out what he didn't like with the remake of Friday 13th. He did think he thinks it holds up really well as opposed to Freddy vs. Jason, which doesn't. And the things that he said when Jason shoots the person with the arrow, He said he shot him in the back of the head. And Friday the 13th kill, you'd see the arrow come out the other side with the kind of the eyeball hung onto it type of thing, which is a Friday 13th style kill. It's this Tom Savini-esque moment. And I said, but just shoot him in the back of the head. That's just a Rambo thing. That's just a normal kill. That's not Friday the 13th. So Friday the 13th, get your franchise back in order, guys. Who was your favorite horror director? This is really hard. I got a few. I mean, I can't say Hitchcock because I don't consider him a horror director. He does a lot of different genres, though he does, thrillers and stuff. Um, there's Fulci, is one of my favorite directors of all time. I just think that he is a master at the stuff that he does. But my favorite director of all time is probably Dario Argento. Even his bad stuff is really highly watchable. And he made some fairly bad films. Dracula 3D is a horrible, horrible film, but I can turn it on and watch it any day because it's also freaking hilarious and and it is beautifully shot. I'd love to see it in 3D the way that it was meant to be seen, which I haven't seen because we no longer have a 3D television set. We have like a 4K, and I go back and forth on that, like wanting to have a 3D one down the road. So, I mean, who knows? But Dario Argento just had so much great stuff. The Three Mothers trilogy, of course, there's the Animal trilogy. There's just the great films he's done. He's done stuff like Tenebrae, Deep Red, Phenomena, which is just an amazing, amazing film with Jennifer Connelly, who turned out to be one of the most beautiful girls that you're going to see in any film. I remember the first time I saw her was in a movie called 7 Minutes to Heaven. It was like a small, kind of like a teen, like dramedy film type of thing, which I really enjoyed at the time. And I would not be able to tell you exactly what 7 Minutes to Heaven is about right now. But I just know that I found her like totally bewitching back then. Well, she was growing up as a teen, the same as I was growing up as a teen. Okay. I really, really enjoyed making this video. I gotta be honest with you. I love being tagged. I love tag videos. I think I've done all the questions there. Argento is the 10th one. So through them one more time. I guess recap. What was my first horror movie that I remember watching? Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a drive-in. What is my favorite horror film? What did I say that was again? Tenebrae. I really like Tenebrae. What is your favorite horror movie genre? The slasher genre. And I talked to it on a lot actually. What horror genre scares you? I love the kind of the real life kind of the serial killer slasher type of movies with the home invasion stuff. Henry's Portrait of Serial Killer, one I didn't mention, that really does actually kind of freak me out a bit. What is the last horror movie that actually scared you? Actually, it wasn't The Conjuring. Damn it. Okay. Good thing you redo these redo things, so I can actually say what actually scared me last time. Maniac. Maniac scared me. It was very real, and it wasn't a jump scare. It was something that lasted with me. Maniac. Who's your favorite Scream Queen, past and present? I think I use Tiffany Shepes and Linda Quigley. I just watched her horror worker video. But I could have easily went with Brink Stevens, Michelle Bauer, any of those girls. What's the concept you like to see in a horror movie? Do me an anthology film again. Bring the slasher movie back the way that it should be. I think horror's doing actually well. The concepts are out there, and it's a really good time to be a horror fan right now. What is your favorite on-screen kill? You want a concept? Okay, here's something I was going to do. And I actually thought of doing when I was writing films. And I was writing cheesy films at the time. I wanted to write something really ultra cheesy. And I just done a dark film that I was worried was going to get made because it had some highly, what I consider offensive stuff. But it was a movie that I was commissioned to write. Luckily, the movie never got made. The next film I was going to make was another going to be dark one in that kind of religious vein, which would have been which would have been hard for me to do. And so the next thing that I thought of, and it was with my dad at the time, we bantered back and forth, and I think that was a cool idea too. He actually helped me with it, and it was like Santa Claus versus the zombie elves, and the whole idea was basically that Santa Claus and like some toxic waste had been like knocked on this elf graveyard where these elves that hadn't made it type of thing, and just to keep it cheap and stuff like that, the toxic waste makes the elves come out as zombies and full grown, so you don't have to hire like a lot of like I guess we just really, you could have like full grown people, tall people, up, you know, everything. You could go out anyway. We went with it. But it was a unique one. It was Santa Claus was going to kick ass. Mrs. Claus was going to be ultra super sexy and be this like big breasted redheaded girl, and it was going to be really really unique. So that was the concept.
It is horrible.
It's fantastic. Uh, What's my favorite on-screen kill? I don't think I gave you guys a good answer with that one. I gave you like a dozen answers. So Friday 13th. It's still going to be Friday 13th, but we're going to go with. A lot of people are going to say the sleeping bag kill. I'm going to say part three's kill, where he just pops his head like that and comes out to the PLI socket. Back to the socket. What's your favorite horror franchise? Friday 13th. What's your favorite horror director? Dario Argento. There we go. It took me 2 times to get it all right, but I got it right. I'm actually digging this hat. Maybe I'll wear this in another video. What do you think, guys? Like the Avalon Expo hat? Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Tag someone.
Hello to the Pin Lord in the Sky. Yeah, I'm going to tag someone. Don't worry. I've been thinking about it during the entire video. So, tag someone? No, I don't do it that way. I tag a couple people because that's me. So, horror stuff. I got to find people that I would tag Dean. Dean, you've watched a few horror movies. Dean a DVD. Dean a DVD. Toddy Walnuts. Parsnip Burger. Falgar 517. You have been tagged. There's 10 questions. I'll put them in the description box down below, along with Kane Carlson's YouTube video channel linky thing, which you should be watching anyway. But if you're not, get over there, watch a video, subscribe, like, do the whole thing, and I'm waiting for you guys to tag people. Have fun. Have a great night. What did I say again? Time for tea. Say hello to the Pin Lord in the Sky. My better half over there just relaxing, and because it's a Sunday, and tomorrow we'll be all back in sucky work, so enjoy your Sunday. My completely dead to the world neurotic cat Smokey, and all my other cats that are upstairs, probably after eating their food, going around like their food contained crack. And have a great Sunday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, do the thumbs up, likey thing. I appreciate that. And comment. I really love comments down below.